Unashamed, unashamed.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Unashamed Podcast with your host, Kourt and Jazz. Here we are. Here we are. So how have you been? I'm trying to pull it together. The energy. Come hither. Come hither.
Not come hither. I'm doing good. My day was good. Actually in a place of trying to embrace, accept, and trying to find myself to be in a space of, all right, God, here I am.
Yeah.
Here I am. Like literally, like what I see in my head is just like, all right, God,
Yeah.
You do what you want, you have your way, you be God, and I'm just trusting. That's what it is. I'm in a space of just trusting. So yeah. And how are you?
Okay. Today is definitely one of those days. I am holding on by a thread, a little small, thin piece of thread. I just, so for me, I think first of all, God has been answering a lot of my prayers. I am definitely standing in a lot of answered prayers. However, I almost feel overwhelmed because there's so much going on. There's so much pulling at me at one time. Your girl is back in school. So that within itself is, taking me down. So it's just, it's a lot of blessings. However, sometimes blessings can be a little heavy. And I'm just trying to, it's calling me into a place of like discipline, managing my time. I have no time to waste. I cannot be like laying around, looking out the window. I have to be actively doing something. So it's tough and I'm tired. So I definitely went to sleep today, overslept, but we are here.
We are here. That's so good though. But the thing about it is, you said they're answered prayers, which means you prayed for this.
Yeah.
You asked God for it, and he said, okay, here. Which means he can trust you with it, which means you have the capacity for it.
Yeah.
So you can absolutely handle all of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're answered prayers, which means you asked for it.
Yeah.
So you got it.
Yeah. I think next time, like moving forward, when I ask God for certain things, I'm not only going to ask him for blessings, but I'm going to ask him for blessings and grace. Give me grace to handle the blessings that you give me. Not saying that his grace is not with me, but I feel like grace sometimes come when you're like seeking him, when you're in his face. The more you seek him, the more grace he gives. So I need to, do a little bit more seeking. Moses needed more grace. So what did my boy Moses do? He went to the mountain and he prayed and he talked to God. So, yeah.
Wow. That's good though. That is really happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, we are going to dive into this episode, and why not kick off this whole season 3 with what it is to be unashamed for God. Living an unashamed life for God.
Yep.
So our vulnerable question is, are you actively living an unashamed life for God?
Do you want to take that first, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so you want me to go first?
Mm-hmm.
Am I living an openly unashamed life? Am I living unashamed? So first, when I think of that, it's kind of difficult because I feel like the more I grow in God, the more I'm growing and evolving in my relationship with God, the more I'm becoming more vulnerable, the more I'm becoming more open. I feel like being unashamed, the definition is to express or act openly without any regret or embarrassment. I think I'm kind of growing in that area when it comes to God. Like my faith is becoming more bold, and therefore I'm like open, and I'll speak up and say like what I know and really be truly comfortable in who I am per se.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm growing. Long story short, your girl is growing. Okay. Stop beating around. Let's stop playing games.
Right.
Yeah, I'm growing in it. For sure.
I'm just gonna take your whole answer.
Praise God.
Take your whole answer because that's literally where I am. Like the more you grow, the more you're put out there, the more you have to do because we're supposed to be a hearer and a doer.
Hello.
So it does call for you to live an unashamed life.
Yeah.
If we aren't just supposed to hear, but we're also supposed to do, which means actions, and like you said, that is to express openly without embarrassment, without all of that. So it's just like, yeah, you kind of gotta be unashamed. You have to be confident in everything that you're doing, everything that he called you to do, and in who he is. So yeah, right now I can say I'm more unashamed than I've ever been.
Hello.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, we all learning and growing.
What does unashamed look like?
Go ahead and take that one first. I wanted to pull me up some scripture real quick.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Okay. What it looks like for me is reverence. It looks like reverence because in order for you to act openly and to really live this life actively, it's just like, who is God? Who is he to you? So in order for me to live a life that's unashamed, I have to revere him. I have to fear him. I have to love him. I have to honor him.
Yeah.
He just has to be the main source of everything for me. So because I know that, it's like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I am going to do that. I will say this. I won't say that. It's just like really me being able to know like this is who God is. And because this is who God is, this is how I know he has called me to just walk in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks like a reference for me.
That's such a deep question. I love your answer. That was so good. One of my favorite stories in the Bible, right, is Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve when they were in the garden. Like the our first look at like relationships between us and our peers, our first look at relationship when it comes to us and God. Like that scripture, that story is like our blueprint for life, basically. And at the end of chapter 2, they talked about how Adam and Eve were naked and unashamed. They were naked and not ashamed. So when we look at their lives, a part of them being naked and unashamed was being their authentic selves. Like they didn't have to put on, they didn't have to act like, pretend. They were completely themselves, and they couldn't do anything to change how God made them. Like they weren't trying to hold nothing back. So when I think of being unashamed, I think of being my authentic self and being completely vulnerable before God and accepting who he made me to be.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
That's really good. Wow.
Yeah.
So that requires us to know who we are.
Know who we are, know who God is.
Yeah. Everything just points back to him because we can't know who we are without him.
That'll preach for real. Because when you truly think about it, like everything we do, every bit of who we are is because of God. It comes from God. Like we wouldn't exist without him. Like we are human because God is God. So it's like everything we do points back to Jesus, points back to God.
So would we also say that freedom looks like living an unashamed life?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think I would say freedom, because in order to live this life in an unashamed way, you're going to get some looks. You're going to get some stares. You're going to get talked about, the persecution, I don't know who she thinks she is, and high and mighty. And, you know, you're going to get all of that.
Yeah.
People are going to think that you're cocky or arrogant or, you know, all of the things. So it's just like, to live a life that's an unashamed life for God, I think that requires freedom. And for you to have that freedom, you have to have trust. You have to know like why you're living this life and who you're really living it for.
That part.
It's like you are living this life for God to be Christ-like, but then it doesn't even just stop there. Like our life isn't just for us, but we're supposed to live a life of freedom so that others can be freed.
And it also requires us to do something on our end too. When we look at the story of Adam and Eve, we see that they felt no shame. In chapter 2, they felt no shame. But once they sinned, that's when it crept in. So really, truly living unashamed, it doesn't mean being perfect, but it does mean being held accountable and also obedience. Like you have to obey God. Like you cannot let sin creep in, because when sin creeps in, it takes away our authenticity. It takes us from that vulnerability with God that he created us to have. So we have to, you know, pay attention to how we live our life. We can't say that we're completely unashamed if we're sinning and if we're doing what we want to do. You're not, because the only reason that they went from being unashamed to feeling shame is sin. Like you gotta, it's a lifestyle. Being unashamed is a lifestyle.
Yeah, it definitely is a lifestyle, and it's choices that you have to make.
Yeah.
Like you have to make a choice.
Yeah.
How are you going to serve God? Like you have to make a choice. You can't be like, I'm going to serve God and do this. I think we said it on our last episode. Like there is no and. Like take the and out, I think you said. Yeah. So it's like we got to make a choice of how we going to live? Who are we going to serve? Who are we going to choose? Yeah. And I think that we can do that when we know what each option has. John 10:10, the thief comes only to steal, kill, and to destroy. I came that they may have life and they'll have it more abundantly. So that lets you know right then and there, who are you going to choose? Yeah. I mean, for me, I know I'm definitely not choosing to serve Satan. He comes only to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Yeah. I'm going to choose to serve God. Where he says that I've come that they will have life and have it more abundantly. Yeah. So like you said, it's definitely about a lifestyle, but it's also about a choice as well.
That's good. Yeah, I agree for sure. 100%.
Being that we talked about being unashamed, I think we should tell the people about the antonyms of unashamed. Shame, embarrassment.
Okay. Yeah.
If you aren't living an unashamed life for God, that means you are ashamed of him and you're embarrassed. Like that's deep. When you really think about that, if we're not living an unashamed life, that's the life that you're living. It's just an automatic. You're ashamed. And then how could you be ashamed of a God that just loves us so very much?
I'm gonna read part of this little thing in the notes. I feel like this is good. It says shame acts as a barrier that hinders our ability to receive God's unconditional love, making it difficult to fully experience his transformative power in our lives. That is heavy.
A barrier?
Yes, it hinders us. Like it's like a gate, a fence, not even a gate, because stuff can come in and out of a gate. But it's like a fence, a wall. There we go, wall. That's even better. A wall that is in between us and God.
Wow.
And what is that wall? That wall is sin. The only way shame comes in is through sin.
Yeah.
Period. There's no other, you know what I'm saying? There's no other way around that. That's just what it is. Like, that's the only way that you have shame in your life. And ultimately, that's why they hid from God. They hid from God because of shame.
Mm-hmm.
They hid from God because they knew that they were naked. Because
Yeah.
Satan told them, if you eat this, you will be like God. So if I eat this, I can be me and I can be God.
There goes that and.
Ain't go that end. You got to kill that end. Serve God only. That's what
Right.
Prophet Calloway said.
Yes. Serve God only.
Yeah, like for real. And that's not the life that God called us to live. And I don't really think in the midst of in the midst of things, and I felt myself, I think it was last week. I said, oh no, devil. I see you. Once it came out my mouth, I said, whoa, Jasmine. Wow. That's how you feeling. So I was having a conversation with somebody and I was like, and this is so crazy because I remember saying this because I'm like, nah, we don't move like that. No. So I had said a comment and I was like, because they was like, they make it seem like church people just, you don't do nothing, you just stuck up, you don't go nowhere, you don't do nothing, you don't partake in anything. And I have my boundaries, of course, right? But I made a comment and I'm like, yes, I love God. And I said, oh no, devil. Oh no, devil. Oh no, you don't love God and you love God only. It ain't no and after that.
There's no and.
I said, oops, sorry, take that back. Just kidding. Just kidding.
No, there's no and. I mean, you see, because it's just the world we live in.
That thing will creep in. Sometimes we say stuff and we do stuff just to fit in, not knowing that our compromise, that little compromise right there, is snatching you out of the presence of God. Yeah. It's snatching you out of the Garden of Eden. And once they left the garden, life became hard. Jeez. Life became difficult. Mm-hmm. Why would you do that to yourself? Life already challenging. You think I'm gonna snatch myself out of the presence of God?
Yeah.
Just to feel acceptance from this little serpent?
Right.
Get out my face. Get out my face.
Not get out my face.
Get out my face.
No, but that's so true. And it's just like, only if people would just like realize like there's only an and in my sentence because I want to be accepted. But the thing about it is you're already accepted.
Yes. Or I want to feel comfortable. Yeah. I think that and comes from comfortability too. You want to have both. You want to have your cake and eat it too. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You gonna eat you a salad and put that cake away. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, why we playing around? Man, that's crazy work.
No, it is. It is. I mean, and it really speaks to laziness as well, because serving God is work. You have to be willing to put in the work. Now, granted, when I say that, I'm not saying we earn this, because no, we can't earn it. But when I say put in the work, I mean, you have to deny yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be transparent before him. You have to humble yourself. That's what I mean, work. Yeah. Like, you have to come to God like, all right, here I am. Yep. His ways aren't like our ways. So that's the work part, where it's just like, okay, God, I'm going to trust you, even though I can't completely comprehend. I can't really understand. Yeah. And a lot of people don't want to do that. Yeah. And I get it. I would be lying if I say I don't get it. I get it, but it's worth it. Listen, you told me you got an easier way. Listen, you got an easier way. You eat this, you do this, you compromise here, life gonna get better. I might consider. I ain't gonna lie to you. I might consider. So listen, I'm not coming for Eve's head because I understand. Like I've been put in that type of situation or that type of predicament, so where it's like life. Listen, you told me life could get better over there. You said
it feel a little different. And
Yeah.
you said it's a little funner. You said, like, I'm definitely gonna take it into consideration. Like, hey, hold on, God. You cannot move like that. You
Yeah,
can't.
but I mean, my God, look what happened when she went
Look
over there
what
and came
happened.
back.
Look what she wasn't. The thing about it is, when you are not living unashamed, you are not only affecting yourself, you
But
are
others.
affecting generations to come. You're affecting people around you, the relationships that are connected to you. You're affecting those people. Her, just because she made that decision to act on sin, let that shame creep in. Her husband done failed to. Her husband done went out to. She wasn't the only one. So
Yeah.
it's like you can't do that. You can't be selfish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Wow.
it's not like he's calling you to a place of, this is it's gonna be hard and you missing out. No, this is great. They was in a garden with everything they needed.
Mm-hmm.
They walk with Jesus in the coolness of day.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Imagine Jesus just there, like boom, he just there. And you walking with him, you talking with him.
That's crazy.
You trade that over for a piece of fruit.
Yeah, a piece of fruit. Yeah, let's clear that up because ain't nowhere in the Bible where it say apple.
Yeah, I was about
I
to
just
say
want to put that in there.
apple. I was about to say a little apple, but nah, I didn't did my research.
Fruit, guys, says fruit. So I mean, that goes to one of our points. How does shame look? It looks like bondage.
It looks like bondage.
It looks like bondage because in order for you to feel shame, you first sinned.
Yeah.
And now because you sinned, 9 times out of 10, you in bondage now.
You're in bondage.
Because after one sin comes the next, and then the next, and then the next. Until you make a choice.
Literally, shame was just the first fruit of what she did. Yeah. Like that was just the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Now we dealing with greed. Now we're dealing with lust. Now we're dealing with perversion. Now we're dealing with jealousy. Now we're dealing with envy. It goes on.
Yeah.
So we got to be mindful. We got to be mindful. We got to be mindful and know that I had to realize that with God, how God created me, he created us to be naked and unashamed. He created us to be vulnerable and just solely depend on him. That's how he created us to be. And he created us to be like that for a reason. It's a reason. Mm-hmm. And that's the best way because God makes no mistakes. He makes no mistakes. When he created stuff in the beginning, he said, that's good, that's good, that's good. That's good. Until he made man by himself. He said, uh-oh, that ain't good. But everything else was good.
Yeah.
Like he did that on purpose. He created us in his presence on purpose. He created us with a longing, with a hunger for him on purpose that cannot be quenched or cannot be fulfilled in other areas. Everybody craves Jesus. Everybody has a little thing deep down inside that only Jesus, listen to me loud and clear, only Jesus can feel. So you over there eating apples, you over there entertaining people, you're over there doing all of these things to quench this hunger that only can be satisfied by God.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Only he can satisfy.
Only he could do it.
Not the things and the cares of this world, not people, not the approval of them. All of that cannot satisfy us. Nothing. It's only God. That's literally how he made us.
That's how he made us.
To want him, to worship him.
That's true. You think you done came from gorillas and like I don't know what all of these different
the theories.
Yes, different theories. All of them can just go to the pits of hell because they just don't make no sense. But you
Right.
think you was created from all of these different things, the universe that dropped you out the sky. You done came, a bird done delivered you at your mama front door.
What?
Like it's just so much different things. But the only thing that can satisfy you is Jesus. You're searching, you're trying to fill voids that can only be filled by Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
We were created to be in relationship with God.
Yeah.
Therefore, we were created to be unashamed. Adam and Eve, the only thing that kept them in the garden was their relationship with God. Once they broke that relationship, that's what took them out. So you were created for it. It's in the Bible.
Yeah.
In the Bible. Created to be unashamed. Created to love God. Created to serve only Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
You were created for that.
I think I just wanted to add on there that I think our point of view needs to change
Yeah.
for us to choose to live an unashamed lifestyle, because I think people should realize that everybody else, they're really ashamed. Everybody is acting like I'm unashamed and I'm doing me and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and you're not. You aren't at all. If anything, you're really living in a whole entire life where you do feel shame because you're hiding it in whatever you're drinking, you're hiding it in whoever you're sleeping with, you're hiding it in the lying, you're hiding it in whatever it is you're choosing to try to do every single day. You're hiding it. So I think our point of view needs to change as well. And I think that would be a great help for us to actually live an unashamed lifestyle for God.
I think there's a difference between, because when I think of being unashamed, I kind of parallel. I make it parallel to being authentic and vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And a part of being vulnerable is being open and honest, like being open and honest about everything, even the stuff that you cannot see about me. I'm still being open and honest with you about it. So I think a lot of people don't really understand what vulnerability is, and they kind of mix it up with being transparent. And because I live a transparent life, I feel like I'm living a vulnerable life. And it's totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not until you live truly vulnerable that you're truly unashamed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think some people just don't really understand.
And that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But I do understand the lack of understanding on people's parts. Not properly taught. You didn't see that around in your life and your upbringing, whatever it is, I definitely do understand the lack of understanding.
What?
But that's why we're here.
Yeah, that's why we're here. And for you got to pay for not understanding. Nobody talks about that. You got to pay for that. Information is accessible to all.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go get it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for not knowing. You're going to pay for your ignorance. You're going to pay for all of that stuff. It's consequences to it. Praise God, grace, 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 mercy, mercy, mercy. You're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And you're going to live a life that is mediocre. You're going to live a life that is not God's best for you, because you're walking in just ignorance, in misunderstanding. The Bible talks about in all thy getting, get an understanding.
Yeah.
You want to be so smart. You know a lot. You be clocking people teeth. Clock it. Yeah, you be clocking. But you're going to perish. We got to get right. We got to get right with the Lord.
Yeah. I mean, when you really think about that, it's like, dag, like, that's really, really sad. Like, who wants to just exist?
Who? I don't.
Just exist, like, day to day. No type of substance, no challenge, no nothing.
Peace.
It's just
no peace, real peace, no joy, no real joy. You just got happiness.
Yeah, which is temporary.
That's temporary.
Yeah.
When stuff not happening, what you doing? How you gonna be in that corner looking crazy, But, oh, let me tell you about a man named Jesus. Man, he offers joy that the world can't give and the world can't take away. I know it's cliche, but that thing is real.
Yeah,
it's like a joy. Man, listen, you don't got no money, but you still got joy. Right? You don't got no friends for real, but you still got joy.
Well, hopefully at the end of all of this,
you come on to Jesus. You give him another try. You give him another try.
Just give him another try.
And if you didn't give him a try, give him a
Can I just say something?
Go ahead, mother. Go ahead, mother. Let it use the Lord.
Don't do that. Don't do that. It's like when you just said that, go ahead and give him another try. The thing about it is, if we have to give him one more try, we really didn't give him a try to begin with. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you really gave him a try for real, and you allowed yourself to be anchored in him, and you gave him complete control over your life, and you like really surrendered, yielded, submitted, did all of that, then he got you. And the thing about it is, you want him after that.
Yeah.
So if you really gave him a try, then you should be like locked in.
Listen, locked in for life. I'm gonna sit beside him. But you're right. You're right. I had to really think about it because when I first came to Jesus, like for real, I stuck with him. Yeah, I stuck beside him. The very first time, it was a little fake. It was, it was like you know what I'm saying?
You wasn't really like anchored in that.
Yeah, that's true.
You wasn't like, God, here I am, have your way. It was like, okay, I'm here. I know you exist. I know you're real, but you still had that and. So when you had to give up that and,
it got to go.
That's really trying him out for real.
It is hard. It's hard. Oh my God, it's so hard. But it's only hard. It is. Like, can we be honest? It's hard. It is hard to be like, listen, I don't do that. And I don't do this. I only serve the Lord. Like, I ain't compromising. I'm not doing it. And that doesn't mean live a life without sin, because that's sin. All have sinned. This is what the Bible says. All have sinned and come short of the glory of God. So that's the mission is not to be perfect, but the mission is to keep on progressing in God, keep on growing, keep on maturing. We're around the stuff that we're trying to deny every single day. So it takes, what I'm saying? It takes a strong, solid yes to God to carry you. And it takes Paul. I think it was my boy Paul. My boy Paul said, I got to beat this flesh every day under subjection.
Yeah.
And that's a part of it. You got to beat the flesh. I have to tell myself, oh no, girl, today we ain't doing that. We're going to say no, yes to God, yes, until that thing get under subjection. It's true.
Yeah. No, that is true. That's very, very, very true.
Like, you got to fast and pray. Lord, listen, look, I'm going to tell you something. It's been a week, and how I'm feeling, but I have to take it to him, and he knows. He knows. He said, cast your cares on me because I care for you. Yeah. And he's an all-knowing God. He's Alpha and Omega. He knows the begin, the middle, and the end. Yeah. Like, nothing is new to him. So give it to him. Long story short, give it to him.
Long story short, give it to him. I mean, that's basically what it say in Psalms, right? Oh, taste and see.
Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good.
Yeah.
You got to taste him. And tasting is like, that's an action. You can't just, I think the Lord is good. My mama said he's good. My grandma said my mama said, my granddaddy said to taste him. Oh, you taste and
those
you see.
Gotta get in leftovers.
Yes. Oh no, you can't do that. That ain't gonna last you. That ain't gonna carry you.
No, it ain't.
Not gonna sustain you at all.
I want a meal.
Yeah.
Well, I hope and pray that everybody chooses to live an unashamed lifestyle.
Yes. Yes, because that's what you were created to live. And that's where the grace is.
Choose to serve God. Choose him.
Yep.
Choose to really taste and see that he is good. Now, what about this last part in the book of Matthew where it says, if we acknowledge him, he'll acknowledge us.
Yeah.
And if we don't, if we deny him, he's going to deny us. That's enough right there.
Scary.
I don't want to be denied.
Yeah, we don't want to be denied. But first, let us get back to the Garden of Eden with the Lord. Get to know him. Get to know him. Get to know him. That's all I got to say is get to know him. Yeah. Get to know him. Get comfortable with his presence.
Yeah.
Don't get familiar with it to the point where you kind of quench him from being God. But know that he is your father, your heavenly father, not like your earthly father. But he is a heavenly father. He does absolutely nothing wrong. Yeah. Everything he does is right. You have to fully submit, embrace that fact. And I think it'll change your life. I know that it changed mine. And I think God is just, I know he's waiting. And he's waiting for people to come. He's waiting for you to come to him. So try him. Try Jesus.
Yes, for real this time.
For real this time.
Real.
The grass is greener on that side. You know what I'm saying? The grass is greener on his side. On that other side, that's artificial turf. You know what I'm saying? It's not green for real. It's just fake. It is fake grass. I'm over here with Jesus in the Garden of Eden. Ain't nothing sour. Ain't nothing old. Everything is fresh.
Everything is fresh.
So remember, live bold, live free, and live unashamed.
Yes.
Until next time.
Unashamed, unashamed.